Okay, great. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Karen. And then again, thank you to Lotus, uh, and Miss Sharon, and and who was the last person?
Salix and Eli.
Salix and Eli. Fantastic. Um, yeah, thank you so much for holding the space. It's so wonderful to be back for a moment. Then the world is calling me back, but it's so wonderful to be back with many of you. Welcome to those of you who are new to this space. This is indeed Medicine Buddha, or sometimes it feels like discography Dharma, which I'm really getting into as well, a little DJ Dharma, all right? The medicine is the music, right? And the music is the medicine, right? I think it's nice to have a little bit of a little musical prelude coming into practice, right? Um, I think it's just really nice. It invites us into the sweetness of practice. It really does. So thank you so much. And once again, I am being held by the ancestral lands of the Creek, Muskogee, and Cherokee people and communities who are still very present here, but again have been deeply decimated by colonialism and all the other things and systems that have deeply impacted um, so many of the community's relationship to this land. And today is, in this country, Indigenous Peoples Day. And as always, for me, it's so important to remember that so much of our practice is about returning back to our own indigeneity, our indigeneity to the land, our relationship connection to the land, to the natural world, to the unseen world, right? This kind of remembering is what's going to save us to return back, right? To return back to who we were before systems and institutions arose to create doubt, right? And aversion to our medicines, to our magic, to our histories, right? To our ancestors as well, to return back. And really that's all Dharma is a returning, like a returning back, a remembering. We're not trying to create anything. Actually, in our Dharma practice, we're trying to remember that we are, that you are. And what are you? Well, you're already awakened, you're free, but we just kind of forgot that. And so the path of Dharma is the journey back into history, back into thought, back into emotions, but it's really also a journey back into the very essence, the very nature of all phenomena, which has always been present, which has always been with us, right? And we're just turning our minds back. And the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, like Medicine Buddha, arise skillfully as a vehicle, a path maybe, that helps us to return back because Medicine Buddha is simply an expression of what we already are, right? And it's important to kind of claim that, even right now in this moment where it seems as if there's nothing but this intense delusion, um, intense darkness, right? To remind ourselves that we are already free is to connect to this light, this illumination of clarity, right? And that's what we're taking refuge in is this illumination, this clarity, right? This light, right? And we've been doing a lot of this work before my break, um, before I took off to travel. like the practice of seeing our light, seeing ourselves reflected, right? In Medicine Buddha, right? Because to see ourselves reflected in Medicine Buddha is to see ourselves reflected in all of the Buddhas, Tara, Chenrezig, you name it, right? The Buddhas, again, only arise to remind us of what we are, right? That we're not the trauma, we're not the chaos, we're not even our identities, right? We are states of liberated energies, right? Emptiness, spaciousness, right? You can call that state God or what have you, but for me, it is just this state of basic liberation, like basic freedom, right? Again, this is what we're trying to remember. And paths like Buddhism and many other paths, many other religions and spiritual paths in this world system have arisen to remind us that we are expressions of this liberated state. That we may call this liberated state different things, I think we're all pointing towards and moving in the same direction, right? Though it may seem like a lot of people are moving in the wrong direction, you know. And to notice that is to allow our hearts to break, right? Is to touch into the grief, right? To see, to witness so many beings making choices are taking refuge in the things that aren't trying to get them free, but they're taking refuge in things that will intensify their disconnection, their isolation, or their block from their true natures. Um, and as bodhisattvas, we do what we can to help people kind of return back to what is conducive to remembering, right? What is conducive to real liberation. We do what we can, right? But we also know that liberation has to be an act of consent. Right? No one can be forced to get free. We have to choose that for ourselves. We don't, you can't sit around and let community do it for you. You can't let your mama do it for you. You can't let your friends or your beloveds or your partners choose liberation for you because it just won't endure, right? Because at the end of the day, when this work gets tough, and it will be tough, it is often tough, right? At the end of the day, when it gets hard, you have to take refuge in the fact that you chose this. Because alternatively, you know how we get, you know, I'm looking at Shante Paradigm Smalls because you're right in the screen in front of me. But like, you know how we get, you know, we get in our attitudes, we start talking shit and we're like, well, I didn't want to do this to begin with. And like I was okay doing this over here, but so and so came over talking about, girl, you need to get free. And I was just like, I just said yes because I'm trying to get them out my face. You know how it is. You know? And it can't, that's not how you're gonna do it, right? I know when to choose freedom, to choose liberation for yourself, it is terrifying because it will change everything. It will change all your relationships. You will lose things. You will be misunderstood. You will start giving up the things that you really loved and taking on this new stuff, right? That people will look at and say, what are you doing? Are you in a cult now? Right? And then all you want to say is that, listen, I just want to get free, right? And I have to choose this even though you may not be choosing this. And that's the hard part about the decision. It's like, you may be the only one around you trying to do this. You know, just like Harriet Tubman, who was just like, listen, babe, it's time for me to go. Like, y'all can't roll with me now, but I'll be back. Right. And that's also one of the most important things about this path is that we can get what we need. And when we feel resourced, we can return back to really be a benefit for folks. Right. But you have to choose that freedom first and do some of this work before you can go back and offer this medicine of liberation. Right. So you don't have to leave people behind. Don't think that you're leaving beings behind. Think that like you're going off to get resourced so that you can become what beings need. And it may not be in this life, right? You may have to leave folks in this life. That's fine, because we have a lot more to go. Right. But it's important that you make the commitment. It's like I have to leave, right? But I'm not forgetting you. So, and this brings us to our practice tonight. As we come into the sacred practice of Medicine Buddha, Minla Sangye, right? The great medicine holder, the great healer. Right? Because our liberation is also healing. We're doing this work of trying to understand the very nature of what we struggle with. Right. And in doing so, we are bringing things back into balance. Right. For me, this is important indigenous-based wisdom is that we're talking about balance, not eradication of things, but the balance. Right. And we are living through the apocalypse because we have the great fortune of being in a world system that can come back into balance. Right. And this is what the labor and the endurance looks like as we come back into balance. And this is what we're holding. And we rely on the Buddhas, the many deities, but the Buddhas like Medicine Buddha to support us, to be present with us as we hold this space for this world to come back into balance, as systems and institutions begin to collapse, as things are being abolished, as beings are waking up to a more ethical, more loving embodiment, right? We're holding the turbulence of this moment. Right? And we can feel this in our bodies. We can feel this in our minds. We feel it in the space around us. Right? And to begin with, moving into our practice, I offer this deep gratitude to the land and to the earth. And as we turn our attention to the lands that are holding us, we are also at the same time touching the land. We can't get free until we learn how to touch the earth. To remember that we are expressions of the earth is an expression of us, that the earth, the land is yet another expression of the cosmic mother, the nurturer. Without the land, there is no life. Without the land, as Malcolm X said, there is no revolution. There's no medicine. There's no food. And considering all of that, we know that the land, the earth, as the mother, is always loving us, regardless of who we are. So as you connect to the land, as we open our practice, offer deep gratitude to the Mother who holds us all. Allow the energy, the consciousness of the earth to begin to rise up around you. And what does that feel like? And this is very subtle, right? But what is your experience of the land? What do you feel when you think about the land, when you offer to the land like this? What are you feeling? What are you noticing? Can you hear the earth, the land speak to you? I wonder if you can imagine actually sitting on or lying on the land, feeling the soil or our plant allies around us, under us, hearing some of our animal allies around us, like the birds. And again, feeling how the land is rising to hold your body, expecting nothing in return, because that is what the expression of love is. Love does not expect a return. Love simply is. Love is just wanting first everything to be free. I don't need anything in return to love in that way. But this inner expression of love is acceptance, telling the truth about what's happening, what is seen, what is sensed, letting everything have its place in boundless space. Because love is never about liking anything, it's about allowing things to be present, to notice what needs to be noticed. And once it is noticed, then we make choices, we respond, we change what needs to change, we cultivate what needs to cultivate, we divest and reinvest in what feels liberatory. This is one of the many teachings from the earth, is this profound practice of acceptance. Because the earth doesn't have to like anything. The earth just simply loves. And what can we learn from this about our own loving, our own care for ourselves and for others? And as you touch the earth, talk to the earth, talk to the land, maybe even talk to some of the caretaking spirits and guardian spirits of the land. For me, in this moment, I offer just the deepest gratitude and deepest love for the elders, the indigenous elders of the lands that I was born on. These spirit elders who have for several years have been teaching me and guiding me to return back to the land, to return back to this wisdom. Now they've taught me to grow medicine, to use medicines, to drum, to sing, to dream. What have your lands taught you? Or the spirits of the lands, what have they shown you? There is great, powerful medicine arising from the lands that are holding you. And this medicine comes in many forms as energy, as plant medicine, herbal medicine, animal medicine, the medicine of the mountain spirits, the river spirits, the water spirits, the air and the fire spirits, medicine from our tree elders, these great ancient conscious beings. There is medicine as for many of us, in this hemisphere at least, how the season is shifting into fall, into autumn. And this is the season of Ratna Buddha, one of the five of the Buddha families. Ratna Buddha, the Ratna family, the richness, the decadence, the generosity, the gathering of the harvest, the cooling, right, of the days and nights, the celebrations and remembrance of darkness, our appreciation of the light as it begins to step back a little bit, to offer space for darkness to teach us, to reflect back to us the parts of ourselves that are calling for deeper relationship. how the fall, the autumn guides us into the heart of winter, into the energy of the Vajra family. And this practice, this guidance, what we're doing now, these are just indigenous ways of knowing, understanding, of sensing, of returning, of remembering that we have intuition, that we have guides and elders holding us, that the land and all the elements are present with us, they themselves being full of wisdom that is leading us back to our liberation. To remember who we were before we were told to be anything. And here we offer our first mantra, Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. We begin with Om and we end with Om, chanting the mantra 3 times in between. And we begin. Om Lazange Kino So Om Lazange Kino So Om Lazange Kino So Om. Finding the earth again. Feeling the support of the land always as we move deeper into our practice. We begin to turn our attention now to the breath. Just noticing the in-breath and the out-breath. Don't change the breath, just noticing. And we remember the breath as an expression of the air element, as an expression of movement, of space, of energy circulating, swirling in us and around us. And we also remember the breath as our ancestors' breath, that we are breathing with all the beings who have come before us. In the same way, all of our descendants will breathe with us after our transition back to spirit. We breathe on behalf of so many beings who were struggling to breathe, struggling to catch a breath. And if you would like, you can begin to deepen the breath, inhaling slowly, exhaling slowly into the nose, out of the mouth, filling the breath like the river, a stream, as water flowing, constantly clearing, awakening, moving things through. May whatever we no longer need be released in the out breath. May we release our grief, which is also the grief of our ancestors. May this breath release our doubts and our fear. May it release our apathy. May it release our pettiness, but not too much because we need a little bit to have fun with. May it release our love of drama. May it release our trepidation around choosing freedom. May the outbreath begin to move the chaotic energy of this moment, the heaviness, the density, this density of transhistoric traumas and hate and anger and despair and hopelessness. May the outbreath release at least our part of this collective experience. And may you surrender into this release. And in this moment, as we're connecting to the earth, connecting to the breath, we feel, we sense Medicine Buddha present. Medicine Buddha is present in the space and the movement. Medicine Buddha is present in the grief and the anger. He is present in the hope as well as in the hopelessness. Medicine Buddha is present anytime we turn our minds to him. And just in this space, in this moment, we can turn our attention to our main mantra. And as we begin to chant this, we just chant it with no agenda, right? No direction, right? But to allow the chanting, the drum to guide us. And again, I call upon all the spirits, all the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas to guide our practice, to take us where we need to be led in order to experience the healing we most need in this moment. And we can sit and listen, or we can sit and chant along. But most importantly, we allow ourselves to surrender. And we begin. Oh, Teya Taum Begense, Begense, Ma Begense, Razuzumunga Tesoa. Teya Taum Begense, Begense, Ma Begense, Razuzumunga Tesoa. Teya Taum Begense, Begense, Ma Begense, Razuzumunga Tesoa. Teanda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razazumunga rezoha. Teanda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razazumunga rezoha. Teanda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razazumunga rezoa. 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 대야다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 수문가래소하 대야다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 수문가래소하 대한다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라는 수문가래소하 대한다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라는 수문가래소하 대한다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 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 수문가래소하 대한다옴 백은세 백은세 마백은세 Just turn my attention to the prayer requests, and again, I call to all the receivers, the recipients of our collective prayers, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the benevolent spirits, past, present, and future, all benevolent ancestors, all beings in the universe who are here to help us get free, to help us to remember. We call to you as we begin to offer our collective prayers. And we begin by offering prayers to Melissa, Judith, Joy, Kay, and Kathy. Offering prayers as I emotionally process the 1 year anniversary of the death of my spiritual teacher, and the prayers that I may find a spiritual community that is right for me. Offering prayers for E, who is having a major surgery next month as part of cancer treatment. May her surgery and recovery go smoothly. May she fully recover and heal completely in body, mind, and spirit from the cancer treatment and be completely well. And prayers for the Kienan Kiaha Kanstatera Sarah, the Mohawk mother seeking legal recourse to halt evacuation in order to continue search for unmarked graves at the former Royal Victoria Hospital and the Allen Memorial Institute site in Tiataike, Montreal. Prayers for liberation for all from toxic emotions from the past. Prayers for C and Co. and company that they are held as they recover from a traumatic encounter and the aftermath. May they be fully resourced and receive the medicine that they need. Offering prayers for Amari, a 5-year-old girl from Cleveland who was severely assaulted and traumatized by a group of older kids. May her spirit fully heal. May she and her mother receive the care and support needed. May all children heal from horrific trauma. Offering prayers for all who are in recovery from addiction, compulsion, and craving. May we experience relief and grace. Prayer for all those suffering under tyranny at this time. Prayers for the full safety ASAP. Please may I be safe and happy in the meantime. Prayers for my heart. May a sweet, honest, loyal love that aligns with me find me. Prayers for my dear friend Kit, who is grieving the death of her dog. Prayers for Elle and for the prayers for all those prayers for uh, prayers for Elle and their safety and security in the world. Prayers for Bill and his extreme back pain. Prayers for Kim to have answers for her mysterious head pain. Prayers for my swift healing from this latest injury, that I can relax, accept, surrender, and trust, bring kindness to myself and others. Offering prayers that I learn what is needed without me having to experience more suffering, so that I can be freed from my condition of ongoing physical injuries, and prayers that I find ways to safely move my energy. Prayers that myself and all who have suffered from emotional incest find healing and freedom. Prayers for help in bringing kindness to these intense, disturbing experiences of pain, physically, emotionally, mentally, and neurological pain. Offering prayers for Jay, may she find the help she needs to ease her fear and find herself. Prayers for C, may he find balance from addiction and trauma and heal. Prayers for M, may they find healing from mental illness. Prayers for me to find a job in alignment with my values, so that I may make my rent in time. Prayers for my first published book. May the right people find it. Prayers for me to get health insurance. Prayers of gratitude for the abundance in my life, community, family, and heart. Prayers for all patients, for the success and sustainability of my wife's shop, for our stability, for Palestine, Puerto Rico, and all colonized peoples, for emotional regulation and continued Dharma work. Prayers that I can love more freely, for all practitioners to step into our power and practice with deep fearlessness and without hesitation. Prayers for A, whose mother just transitioned. Prayers for FL, who is going through a lot of looking for work. Prayers that peace in Gaza may last and that everyone will be free, especially people who are oppressed and suffering. Offering prayers to help me to see clarity in terms in which direction I need to follow for my professional career, which will allow me to shine my light and grow financially. At the same time, clear my obstacles, visible and invisible, in my path. Prayer for my dad, who transitioned 10 years ago. May he be guided by the light, whatever dimension he is. Prayers for holding, for grace, for family to step forward and chosen family to arrive as I cross the threshold towards self-employment and the right vocation. Prayers for A and C, that they may be supported and loved in community now and in the future. Prayers to stand in my power and accept all the love that I am. Prayers of healing for my family, my mom, my sister, her wife, and 3 children as they navigate processing trauma. Prayers of healing for my dog, Canelo, who injured his rear leg. Prayers for the healing for AL, for debilitating migraines. Prayers that all beings have all the love they need and more. Prayers of healing and protection to all beings who are working toward wellness and liberation. Prayers for my and all our kids. May they have more clarity on and trust the feelings in their hearts in a world with so much hate. Prayers for seeking clarity, light, and share unconditional love for everyone. Prayers for being able to seek help, learn, and demonstrate humility through these changing times. Prayers as I help others in a changing profession and stand with self in challenging times. Prayers for courage and faith and skillfulness to alchemize all the pain into something beautiful and beneficial. Prayers that my baby cousin M always has what she needs, and that her creative, sweet, curious spirit is nurtured by all those around her. May she experience freedom and agency throughout her lifetime and beyond. Prayers for my heart, which is hurting from missing loved ones who are far away. Prayers for myself to go through my second to last semester in seminary. I am behind in my reading and writing assignments. Prayers of focus, resilience, and persistence, and a flourishing finish to this week, going into our break next week. Ashe. Prayers of gratitude to Lama Rod, Eric, and Karen as they continue to create and hold space for our community. Blessings to all. Ashe. Prayers for Miriam G, having glaucoma surgery October 23rd. For Joyce with pulmonary hypertension to get the tests and help she needs. For Ricky and his continuing recovery from brain surgery and cancer. For Mira with Hodgkin's lymphoma. For myself dealing with overwhelm, tiredness, sadness, disconnection from too many things happening to so many people across the nation and the world, especially for those terrorized by the current government, unrelenting senseless harm for the hostages who have returned home from Gaza and their families, the Israelis horrified by Netanyahu's actions and being unable to stop him, for the Palestinians returning home from the tension in Israel, for the unspeakable losses and trauma for all the Palestinians and their land. Prayers for everyone in the world trying to hold all this trauma and continue to love, thrive, and practice. Prayers for the safety and thriving of all of our trans siblings and loved ones. Prayers for my brother Patrick, who may be suffering deeply now as a result of cancer. May he feel free to live his illness with the courage he lives his life. May he be liberated from any guilt or shame. Prayers for myself and all women to find their way after leaving an unsafe situation for their soul work. May we all find our deep abilities to heal ourselves and offer the strength of others to heal. Aho. Prayers that I walk into the dark, prayers that I believe in myself, prayers for seed to hold love at the center of me. He be cared for, prayers for swift clarity on my next steps, for stable and loving housing, for direction to the sacred lands who are calling me to live and work. Prayers I may let go, prayers for the swift resolution of all medical insurance issues, for clarity about a treatment plan, and for the rapid and complete resolution of this cancer. Prayers for Rebecca and for Marsha as they transition from one lifetime into the next. May their lives and deaths be of benefit to all beings. Prayers for the people of Palestine, Sudan, and Congo, and all oppressed people in the world. Prayers for Kunal, who continues to receive worsening news and more difficult experiences with cancer. May her and her family receive the medicine they need in whatever form, the medicine of liberation as cycles continue to unravel. Prayers for Mark, who has 2 exams coming up, to do well and take care of himself during this stressful time. Prayers for Sarah W., her family, and her father, who transitioned last Thursday. Nellie and her transition. Prayers of resistance, hitting a wall to Ninja Vajrayana practice, to remove those barriers in Vajrayana practice. May all beings find connection and love and resource and community. And may we learn new ways to have courage and earn each other's trust. And we continue to pray again, always, for the complete abolition of all systems of harm and violence that prevent all of us, many of us, from experiencing real liberation. May all beings be deeply resourced in whatever way is appropriate and meaningful for them. We continue to pray for all beings who are transitioning back into the spirit worlds of the Bardo. May their path be clear. I pray especially for Bodhilila, that her path is cleared and that she is returning safely back to her ancestors. And we continue to pray for the remembrance of all beings, that we remember as quickly as possible that we are already liberated, that we are already free from the pain if we can just have trust and develop deep faith in our own natures. May we awaken all as quickly as possible. And we offer these prayers to all of the spirits, the Buddhas, who are holding these prayers, and we ask all of these great beings to work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers, and at the same time empowering us also to work on behalf of the fruition of these prayers as well. May all of this be so as quickly as possible. We turn our attention now back to our mantra. And again, touching the earth, feeling the earth, returning back to being held, returning back to release, opening, deepening. And we continue to dwell in the consciousness of the great healer, Medicine Buddha. O te adaum begunze ma begunze razumunga te soa. Te adaum begunze ma razı zumunga de zoa de ala de gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala de gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa de ala be gunze be gunze ma be gunze razı zumunga de zoa So finding our way back to the earth again. Again, feeling the land rise to hold you. Returning back to this moment, to this timeline. Offering deep appreciations for whatever experience we had, no matter how mundane it may have seemed. Coming back. And allowing ourselves to come back into the space, beginning to reawaken our bodies, connecting to the weight of our bodies, the seat under us, moving slowly but intentionally. And when you're ready, we turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer, which you'll find in the chat box, which we'll recite 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. And just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. All right, thank you all so much. Um, I'll just take some space if there's 1 or 2 questions that someone would like to ask in the chat or in person, um, unmuted. Please do so.
Feel free to either raise your hand or if you're feeling brave, just unmute yourself and speak into the space.
And don't be shy, because I need to go put my creams on. So,
Well, maybe Lama Rod, I'll just say my last bit here while it percolates. Thank you all for being here and sharing the power of your medicine. Again, if this offering supports your liberation, please do donate to sustain Lama Rod's healing work in the world. Every little bit makes a huge difference, and the Medicine Buddha Quick Link stock is there with lots of different resources to sustain you until the next time we see you.
Okay, I have a question, Lama Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the end of the thing, when you said, like do appreciation for your practice, however mundane, um, we're talking about working with that mundane energy of almost like when you're numb and you don't have intense highs or intense lows. But I think it's almost like the burnout of kind of what we're doing or what we're going through right now in like reality, where the rage will spike, but even that's kind of gone down where now it's kind of this like mundane energy I'm sitting with a lot, where even when I'm still engaged and trying to work and trying to help with things,
Mm-hmm.
um, still kind of just feeling that almost numb kind of feeling. And even tonight I found myself trying to like chasing the feelings a little bit like a little addict,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end just kind of just trying to be present with what was there, which was just you know, saying the words and following the drum. So I don't know if you had any guidance or thoughts or just sitting with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's is really common for a lot of folks right now. I mean, the you can call that numbness, all kinds of things right now. But it just in this case, it just yeah, it just feels like um, just a real kind of disembodiment, right? Which is makes sense because there's so much energy, and sometimes it's like it just kind of kicks us out of experiencing, right? Um, and at this point, I would just trust the numbness. It's more than just numbness. It's not, I think numbness isn't the best way to describe the experience, but it's something. There's much more happening, right? And and it just feels like all you're being asked to do is just to be with it, to abide with it, to hold it. You know, it's not about trying to do anything. It's just like noticing, being with it, right? And letting that experience have its space. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes certain mechanisms kick into place that protect us from the intensity of things, and just trust it. You'll get what you will need, right? Especially if you're in this practice. If you're in this practice, your things are being guided, things are being orchestrated in a way that's going to be ultimately for your benefit. You know, and once you develop a deeper capacity to experience these energies, then that will begin to happen. But for right now, just it's just a knowing, like you know that there's a disconnection or a kind of like blurring of things, and that's enough, right? That's the practice. Yeah.
Lots of folks looking forward to your next time you travel to the Northeast for sure.
Well, we'll be up. I'll be up in the Northeast, beginning in New York. Well, beginning in Jersey, on in November. But just follow the website, newsletters. We'll start promoting the Northeast teachings. It'll be Jersey, Manhattan, Boston, Burlington, um, and that's it. Yeah. So Massachusetts, Vermont, Jersey, and New York. um, beginning on like November 8th or 9th. Um, and Boston will be the last teachings that I do. So I'll be at Shambhala, Boston, and I'll be at a local bookstore in Boston doing a book reading. But that's all going to be on the website. But we'll make it a point to promote it a little more. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Here's one last question in the chat. Um, so yesterday I talked about feeling or perceiving the love we receive from ancestors, like a capacity. Can you say a bit more about that? Let's see, what was yesterday? That was that was Sunday service. Um, yeah, so feeling or perceiving the love we receive from ancestors. Like, can you say a little? Yeah, I mean, everything is trying to love you. Or I would say actually everything is loving you. You know, there's a profound love from the earth, from the elements, from the ancestors, you name it, you know. Um, and what we're doing is learning how to tune into that expression of love, right? And it takes getting to some stillness to get there. At least that's been the case for my practice. So getting to the stillness, this openness, right? And learning what this energy of like unconditional care or love feels like. And for me it feels like just space. I mean, this openness, this fluidity, this feeling that I am not alone, that I'm being held. Um, and it's learning how to cut through the fear, the pain, and the trauma to get to that really subtle experience of love. But it's subtle at the beginning, but once you really attune to it, then it becomes very strong, right? To the point where you're just feeling it. Like you're just feeling just deep love, deep appreciation. Um, but it takes training in that. It takes training in opening. It takes training in connecting to love, to real liberatory love, not the conditional, kind of violent love that many of us have received, but the unconditional love, which is just permission, it's freedom, it is the permission to be ourselves, to be content, right? To believe that we have a right to be free and resourced and well and safe and happy, right? Yeah. Oh, Miss Major passed away today. I didn't know that. As as the elders in my community would say, nobody ain't told me nothing. No one, nobody called me. Like no one. My phone is on silent, and do not disturb, which it is always on do not disturb. So, which is really lovely for me. I like that. I love that for me. Um, and so maybe someone texted me. Yeah, it just happened in our session. In our session tonight, it just happened. I don't know. Okay. Well, um, but we did offer prayers for all beings transitioning back into spirit. But we offer another prayer for Miss Major. Of course, if you don't know who Miss Major is, Miss Major was now, just an icon in trans history, trans liberation history, and has been surrounded by community and support for several years now. I think down in, I want to say Arizona,
Arkansas.
New Arkansas. That's not Arizona. Arkansas. Okay. So not necessarily down. For me, it's over. So over in Arkansas. But yeah, who's been really getting a lot of support, but she was in hospice. It's been in hospice for the past week or so, I guess. So we offer just our prayers for her as she leaves this world and transitions back to be with the ancestors, and may the ancestors rise to meet her. Marsha and Sylvia and all the others. May they meet her in her transition. May we honor and celebrate her. And we also honor and celebrate all the ones who transitioned without being remembered. We honor you as well. And may we continue the legacy of all the great ones who are leaving. Miss Marsha Asata, Mother Asata Shakur, um, as well. May we continue their legacies, and may we continue to fight for freedom. As Mother Asata would say, it is our duty to fight and to win. We must support each other and love each other. Right? We have nothing to lose but our chains. May we lose these fucking chains. And we pray that the spirit of all the great ones abide with us, guiding us. May they always be a resource for us as we remember to lift our prayers, our attention to them. And that awareness, may they touch us back and continue to guide us as they were guided to continue to work for freedom in this world, in this body, on these lands. And may the lands be freed from all violence, from all occupation. May the lands return to real caretakers. May this happen as quickly as possible. May all indigenous people be free. May they have access to their lands, to their histories, to their language, to their magic. And may we follow them back into our own indigeneity. May we remember. May we all remember quickly. Okay.